Cool. Well, good morning, everybody. Thanks for joining us again for the wonderful Coffee with Kellyanne and crew, Caffeine and Choir, all the C consonants alliteration names we've come up for these sessions. So that's fun. We're going to cover a few things. Obviously, virtual choir submissions are done. So thank you to everybody who submitted. As we touched on before, some of you were here. Katie and I have gone through and just kind of enjoyed watching a lot of people just do the like staring at the camera, and there's something actually nice about that. I don't know why, but it makes me feel connected to you guys in a weird way. We sent all the videos and audio off to the video editor Thursday, and the audio guy on Thursday. So excuse me, they're mixing it down, and we're hoping to have a final product within like 2 weeks. We have over 84 video submissions, or 85 video submissions, so it should be a real deal virtual choir. And we are not typically in YPCC fashion. We have a lot of sopranos and altos and not too many tenors and basses, but fret not. Mike Fran recorded a track for bass and both tenor parts, as did Jacob, and then a couple other people recorded some double tracks. So thank you to those guys. I left it up to the videographer's discretion whether or not Mike should appear 3 times in the video, representing each voice part. But yeah, I assume he's not going to. But
can I raise my hand and vote for that?
Yes. So thank you guys for your hard work on that. We're gonna pull out all the over the next couple weeks, all the introductions that people did at the front end of the video and splice in some good promo material. So not the singing, but like the fun, like, hi, I'm an alto and here's why I love YPCC, or like anything like that. So also, if you have any bloopers that you want to send my way, feel free to send them to me or Stephanie Eldred. I know that some of you had some fun like setups with camera tripods on bookcases and that kind of thing, which is, you know, my laptop right now is sitting on an old a shoe container. So I'm totally legit. This is what my laptop sits on. It's just a cardboard box here in my basement. So we're all doing it together, and it's fun to see everybody set up at home, and it makes us feel more connected. And I think when we put those videos out of you guys recording at home, everybody in our community, singer community, will like to see, like, oh yeah, I miss singing with that person. So ahead of the full video project coming out, we're going to try to generate some fun stuff from the video footage we have. So that's where we stand with that. When it does come out, we're going to ask all you guys, obviously we'll give you like hashtags to share on social media. We're planning to do a big virtual video release where everybody's kind of watching the video release together. That is slated for early May, for the week of May 3, just so you have a frame of reference. But that's where we stand with the video project. And I think that's it. Yeah.
I will say that I was asked to record a track, and I have never felt as old as I have in the last month with like the world going virtual and tech laden, for that is not my superpower. And it was so easy to do because Katie and Ginny and Mike and Scotty like laid down the tracks and the instructions and the videos and the web page, and it was just so clear. So like we could not have done this without these amazing humans who did all the stuff behind the scenes. So thank you. Even old ladies like me were able to put together stuff in a fairly easy way. So not only is that good for us to have some content that we can put out there and to just feel good about singing together, but I think that there are going to be other organizations across the country who will kind of look to us for our process because it is so clear. And I'm excited to sort of, you know, point people in our direction as a thought leader, as it were, in virtual choir. Dear Lord, not what we want to be thought leaders in, but nonetheless, here we are. Scotty and I and Ashley, sorry, I was looking right at your last name there, Ashley.
I'm not the only one anymore.
Oh, did you? Yeah, right.
I always call Ashley Allison.
Oh,
anyway,
man,
sorry.
It's tricky. But so, you know, we obviously are meeting behind the scenes twice a week to keep the organization going. And so we just wanted to sort of check in sort of on short-term and long-term things that are sort of coming down the tracks. As most of you know, YPCC has been built as an organization that focuses on its members. So as a music nonprofit organization, you sort of have 3 different audiences that you can sort of choose how you face them, right? Your members, the people making the music, your audiences, and then sort of your funders. And presenting organizations, their primary people they focus on are their audience. For us, we focus first on our singers in everything that we do. Like, if we build it, the audience will come and the funders will come. We think that you guys are the most important part of what it is that we do, and you are the organization. So we wanted to just chat with you first about things like the gala and sort of what's coming up next before we put public information out into the world. So we have some logistic stuff, but before we get to logistic, I just want to sort of give the broad creative, artistic, organizational things, because I think it's important that you all know, we've been sort of saying for the last 5 weeks, because it has been 5 weeks, which is crazy to me, since we canceled our gala and had to start reinventing the way that we did things. And, I've been saying since that process began that for every unknown, and there are just a shit ton of unknowns right now, we will answer the unknowns with as many knowns as we have. And that's still true. The unknowns keep changing, and we will continue to find things that we know and can tell you. We also are committed to this fact that we will continue to find ways to connect and to create. That's really important to us no matter what happens, because we all know that, according to the world, we're going to reopen on May 1st and it's all going to be great. Or this is going to continue for a while, that we're going to be sort of socially disconnected. And so no matter what, we will continue to connect and create. And then Scotty has actually done a really great job of sort of taking ideals from our strategic plan and these sort of ethos and put them together into sort of 3 basic underlying pieces of information that no matter what, we will continue to bring you joy. There is no other choir that I am aware of in this country in which the requirement that what we do is joyful is written into their mission statement. Our 3 words that we run everything through are that everything we do has to be high quality, everything we do has to be joyful, and everything we do has to be accessible, has to be a way for a lot of people to be able to be part of what we do. That still will be true. And so Scotty's number 1 thing is we will continue to connect you and bring you joy, no matter what, even if it is seeing where Scotty's laptop is sitting. The number 2 thing is that we will continue to hustle behind the scenes to make sure that our organization is sustainable. That means raising money. That means making sure that when we get to the other side of this, whatever this is, that YPCC is still here. We are a small arts organization, and small arts organizations right now are struggling. And I'm not going to lie and tell you that we are not, that we don't have struggles in front of us, but we also are really proud of the fact that we have an awesome board and we have a professional staff, and that we do things in the right way, and we are going to hustle our ass off, and we have plans in place to make sure that we are sustainable and here on the other side. And then sort of the third thing is that we will continue to be an organization that is innovative, that we will continue to do things that meet the needs of who you are and change with the times, right? When they say, the world is back open, people might not want to come and sit in a concert hall in the same way. We know that. We're having those conversations behind the scenes. So that's all kind of the big picture thing. And we hope that you can sort of be part of that team and those advocates to help make sure that we are sustainable and that you are bringing joy to each other and continue to do those things. In the short term, we said that that the unknown was what was going on with this pandemic, but the known was that we would do the gala concert at some point. And that is still a known. So we have the space at the Museum Center basically through next June. And we are glad we have that space. We are also beholden to that space. And we are planning on doing Radio Revelry in some way, shape, or form before that time. But May 19th was our first rescheduled date, and we can tell you unequivocally that there's no way that we are doing that concert on May 19th. We know that everybody sort of assumes and knows that, but we're going to have to state that publicly this week, and we didn't want to state it publicly until we had options for people as to sort of how that is handled and how that works. So Scotty, do you want to take a minute and just sort of illustrate sort of the logistic piece of the gala concert specifically?
Yes, definitely. And like Kellyanne said, we grappled with this, whether or not we wanted to cancel it outright, but the ethos of us is we prepared for this concert, and we definitely want to do it at some point. Just to reiterate what Kellyanne said again, we have this space at Union Terminal through June of 2021. That means we could do the concert in the fall. We could do it in January. We could do it in March. We could do it in June of 2021. We ran a lot of budget scenarios, and we've been doing that over the last 3 weeks, and eventually got to a point where we said, we just don't know what next week is going to look like, let alone 3 months from now. So we backtracked a little bit and said, what we need to do is suspend the May 19th date that we have and put it up in the air, for lack of better terms, and know that at some point next season we will perform Radio Reveille or some elements of that concert in Union Terminal at some point. So with that said, what we're going to do this week is roll out to everybody who has bought tickets to Radio Reveille a number of options. The first one will be they can submit their tickets for a individual donation. They can turn their tickets into an individual donation. The other option is that
I'm going to stop you right there. Oh. That's the best option.
Yes.
In the spirit of making sure that our organization is sustainable in a season in which there is no other opportunity for us to earn revenue, that is the best option. And so we say that so that you can pass that on to your people as well.
Yes.
Continue.
Thank you. Good. No, perfect. I'm going to copy and paste while I do this. So yes, with that in mind, and as I speak, I'm going to copy and paste a quick Google Doc into the chat here. Ashley worked on some sample social media posts that we're going to, like to use the word weaponize, but we're going to weaponize our singers to kind of be our social media forces of good in the world for the next several weeks. That means you guys, we're going to ask you to share posts about what singing means to you, maybe not necessarily what YPCC exactly means to you, but like post a funny picture from when you were in 6th grade choir and that kind of thing. So the goal is to create some goodwill in the social media landscape so that when XYZ person in your life gets the notification this coming week that they have the option to turn their ticket into a donation, they are hopefully more inclined to do so because they know how much this organization means to you, if that makes sense. So you don't have to steal that language exactly, but we just wanted to give you some ideas that you can pull from, and we will make sure that all these resources we're giving you, like social media posts and the information for turning tickets into donations, are communicated to you in a one clear form with a click link to do the donation. So that's all coming, but we just want to make sure you guys know where our thinking is with that. So number one, ticket holders can turn their gala tickets into a straight up individual donation. That is the preferred option. Number two will be that they can turn their tickets into essentially a YPCC concert credit. So if we do this concert again, when we do this concert again, they can say, I just want to take that credit and credit it to Radio Reveille, remake or remix or whatever we call it. Or two, they can buy 2 tickets to the holiday concert with their credit and they get back from their gala ticket. So that's the second option. And then the third option, if they prefer, they can have a refund. We are obviously not going to highlight that one. We've been looking at what a lot of the larger arts organizations in town are doing and the language they're using. And some of them are not even offering a refund option in their mailings to ticket holders. Or season ticket holders. So we've kind of weighed different ways to handle this, and we think those 3 routes are good to go, with the hope that people understand that we are a small arts organization. This event is a lot of our bottom line for our whole season. And none of us realized until the fact, but this canceled over half of our season, or this affected over half of our season because of the time of it. If it had hit a week later, we would be in a totally different boat. Or if our gala had been scheduled a week sooner, a totally different boat. But just the timing of it puts us in this interesting situation where we have all this ticket revenue in hand. We weren't able to do the event as we scheduled, so now we have to pivot in this way. So anything to add, Kelly?
Yeah, I would just say, so essentially their individual donation would be an individual donation to the YPCC, like COVID-19 relief fund at this point in time, which is just general operating support for us. We still are not able to do any large scale funding until ArtsWave puts forth sort of guidelines as to, because they've extended their campaign. As many of you know, their goal is $12 million, and that money is disseminated to all of us. They've only raised 7 at last count. So right now we're putting our efforts into helping ArtsWave support their campaign, and we're waiting to hear from them for when we can do our spring fundraising campaign. In the meantime, the only money that we have right now that's going to payroll and back of house expenses and things like that is coming from the ticket revenue that's sitting in the bank. So those refunds end up being money off of our books at this point in time. But we get it. People are losing jobs. We understand. And so we will be an organization that if people need that, that exists. I also just want to address the fact that for singers specifically, if you paid your $50 dues for this concert, you already received your music. We already went all the way through to the dress rehearsal. Your $50 dues will apply to any time that we do this concert. I know that some of you might not be able, you might get a new job in Spain and when we end up doing this concert, because I can't guarantee you a date. We are not in a position right now to refund money because we already bought the music, if that makes sense to you. I wish that I could be like, and yes, but that isn't, I hope that you sort of understand what that looks like. However, if you upgraded, if you bought a VIP ticket, that's a ticket expense. So you can do the exact same thing with your upgrade that Scotty just said. Give it as an individual donation, apply it to a gift certificate for next season, and that can be a gift certificate to a VIP upgrade next year, or it could be like you buy a ticket for your brother for the fall concert or whatever that looks like. So those are sort of all the options there. Okay, bye, Mike, Fran, miss you in Spain. Oh shit, now it's raining on me. Come on, world, get your life together. The other, I saw something in the comments from Katie, and I just want to say this so that it's out loud to Katie and Stephanie. The Gratitude Tuesday is a thing, Giving Tuesday is something that they are trying to bring back on May 5th. Just so you all know, in the nonprofit sector right now, it's a little bit frowned upon because whatever. So it's something we're looking at. In the meantime, because we like to think ahead and be innovative, we've started our own program that's going to launch this Tuesday, right, Scotty?
Yes.
So we're starting a new program called Gratitude Tuesday, named by Scotty, also the namer of the beer barrel, because that's what he does.
I got good names.
And every Tuesday, we're going to be driving content to our Facebook page to highlight this awesome stuff that our legacy leaders and connections and partners in the community are doing. We're starting on Tuesday with ArtsWave. And then you can look to our Facebook page to find different people that we can thank and highlight those kinds of things. So, and there may be ways for you to donate through Gratitude Tuesday to Gratitude the YPCC. But again, we're waiting for some funding allocations of that. I'm going to move on from Gala unless there's something else, Scotty, that I need to say.
No, that's everything. Do you want to, if anybody has a quick question about this, do you want to address that now or just address them all at the end? Let's address them all at the end.
Legacy campaign.
Thank you for that. I am sad that I didn't get to cue that a million times.
Right.
I will publicly say that when Kellyanne came to us with the idea of Legacy Campaign theme song, I was apprehensive, is a good word. I was amicably apprehensive. And she knew that. And in her own way, she wrote into the script that I would cue the Legacy Campaign jingle. I think it was like a total of 10 times. And it was just because she knew how amicably apprehensive I was about it. And that's one of
Finish the sentence. And then when we did it at dress rehearsal.
When we did it in dress rehearsal, I realized the genius behind it. So I'm declaring publicly, I will never doubt your creative genius in Kellyanne.
The other night, Christopher and I were sitting on the porch and just talking about things because we're nerds. And at one point he looked at me and he's like, Kellyanne, you are full of ideas. I'm like, I know, I'm full of big ideas. And cheese. I'm full of big ideas and cheese. And so that's now my new hashtag for all things. Hashtag big ideas and cheese. So like I said, I'm going to move on from Gala now, because there's more to our season and to who we are than just that one concert. But like I said, the known is we're going to do that concert. Also, Scotty and the board and et cetera have sort of, passed on to me that there is still an interest in me being back in some way, shape or form for that concert. And that is the hope. So again, the unknown is when and where and whatever, but the known is that we're going to work to radio revelry our way through it.
Right.
The rest of this season, we know that our spring concert didn't come to fruition, but then we have chamber choir after that. So Megan is here. Megan, you want to talk a little bit about what chamber choir will look like going forward?
Yes, and apologies that I'm apparently named Caroline on this video. I swear I signed in with my email, but apparently, because my daughter does all her Google Meets for school through, or does all her class sessions through Google Meet, apparently it signed me up as her. So hey,
Megan, Zaya changed ours to Bodie McBoatface.
Oh, good.
On
Excellent.
Zoom. Yep,
Yeah,
absolutely.
perfect. Brilliant. Yeah, I use Zoom for my classes. She uses Google Meet. So, and I swear I like literally typed in my email and my password, and somehow I'm still Caroline Boyd, but it's fine. It's whatever. So I think, you know, chamber choir is, as we know, is not happening in the form that we originally intended, even though we haven't said anything publicly about it. But much like Gala, what we know is that we want to do that concert. So the plan is to do the concert at some time, at some point in the future, probably in 2021, just because we have so many things happening in the fall and we don't know what the fall will look like, and we have a new ID and we still have this gala concert and all the things. So what the other known that I want to make known, that sounds stupid, but whatever, is that if you are in chamber choir 2020, you are in chamber choir 2021, period. I will probably have some auditions to add a few voices here or there. We might add an extra piece of music because we've already done half the rehearsal process, right? So we might add something, you know, it might look a little bit different than we had originally intended. But if you are in chamber choir now, you can be in chamber choir next year without auditioning. We've already bought the music, all the things. So that's the other sort of known piece. I think the plan is to repartner with CCO and their brass players. I hope, but we just continue, everything keeps changing. And so we're gonna keep all of that flexible, but again, the knowns are, if you're singing now, you get to sing next year, and we will do this concert at some point next year.
And Megan, are you still looking at the possibility of getting the band together, as it were?
Well, so I was just about to say that. So yes, so it's, Matt Heston just said it's a similar in the chat. It's a similar reverberation. It's exactly right. We're just gonna reverb till 2021. So the other piece of this that we would like to do from an organizational standpoint is our concert was supposed to be on June 3rd. As Kellyanne said, we don't know that anyone's gonna wanna come to concerts. We don't know that we're going to be able to rehearse. We're obviously not going to do that concert right now. But we would like to be part of the conversation, part of the YPCC conversation, and acknowledge the fact that we had this concert that we were going to do that we are not getting to do. And so we would like to do a chamber choir virtual choir of one of the pieces that we were going to sing on June 3rd and release it on June 3rd, much like the one that is happening that you all are doing, Jacob's piece. So I have zero details on that, and I know nothing about virtual choir. I sort of actually hate it, but here we are, and we're living in this world, so we're gonna do it. So Scotty and I are gonna talk about that at some point, and he's gonna tell me exactly how we make that happen, because I know nothing about that. So I can't tell you anything more, except I don't even know what piece we're gonna do yet. I just have to sit down and look at what makes sense.
Matt just voted for Ngana, so
no, Jenny's not voting. And you know, if we can pick a piece that was going to use a brass player from CCO, maybe we do that. So I just need to, there's a whole lot of, again, unknowns about that project, but the known is that we would like to do it. And I'm hoping there's only like 30 singers in chamber choir, so my hope is that we can get all 30 of you doing it. Got it, Jenny, I'll put a tally in that category. So
yeah, no, I think it's,
again, anything else? Am I missing something?
I don't think so. No, and I think, again, this idea that, you know, we know that unknowns are, I mean, next season is an unknown in terms of the world, right? So just so you all know, because we are still working behind the scenes to finalize our artistic director process for next year, and you'll all be having information in your hands within the next few weeks, I think. But Megan and myself and our artistic team, we are going to be getting together to plan sort of a skeleton of next season that runs through 3 different levels, sort of a small, medium, large, as it were. The ideal situation that we could hand off to a new artistic director that had every concert that we're used to having, a fall and a winter and a gala and a spring and a chamber and a partridge and a pear tree and all the things, and maybe something that's like a middle level that takes out some of the production costs that allows us to pivot, not only because maybe having a fall concert isn't going to be a thing, it might not be allowed for all we know, right? And then sort of a real bare bones. But we also know that we can be planning in things that look different, right? Like we didn't budget for virtual choir expenses. We didn't budget to bring in brass players over technology. So we are going to, with that ethos, of those 3 sentences that Scotty has sort of put out there, we will continue to innovate and we'll continue to think about what next season might look like. But we're planning next season. There's going to be a next season. It's just not going to look like season 7, but in YPCC, when does one season look like the next in any way, shape, or form right now, right? So we are happy to give you some knowns. There will be a virtual choir, chamber choir. We know that you can be looking for the released version of Light and Love. We know that Radio Revelry will happen sometime within the next calendar year in some way, shape, or form. We know that we will be back in Union Terminal. We pretty much know we'll be back in Union Terminal because our budget would really like for us to be back in Union Terminal. And we know that we will keep finding ways to create joy. My plan was that sort of after the gala, I would sort of start backing up. But in fact, that's not what's happening right now. I'm sort of ramping up to make sure that on July 1, our organization is in a really great place in terms of production, artistic, onboarding, what's next, all the things. So you guys are well taken care of in terms of all the people that we have behind the scenes who are hustling, and Scotty's fantastic basement office and Ashley's great fundraising brain and Jenny and the whole board who are sitting behind things.
Are you the creator of this virus just so you could hang on for a little bit longer?
Yeah, that's true. It's
Classic
totally
Thanks for ruining our lives.
The number of times I've heard that sentence over the last couple of weeks.
Me too.
Right.
Yeah, I got it on video though, where I was called the worst mother. I hate you. You're the worst mother in the world. And I was like, well, but it's on video, so I can show her when she's 25.
There you go. Yeah, no, this is not how I wanted my time with my choir heart baby to be ending. And I'm not going to lie that I haven't had some hard moments about that, but I'm also really proud of the fact that we are not hiding in the corner, but we are also not just going, we should do this. We should do everything that we're doing is running through the lens of our strategic plan. Everything that we're doing is running through the lens of who we are and who we want to be, and also meeting the needs of our singers. So things to look for, Gratitude Tuesday, in terms of things you can push out. This week, we're going to be sending a correspondence to all of your people who had tickets for the gala that's going to explain these options. It would be better if they heard from us instead of you just going, oh my God, we're not going to do the gala. You should go ask them for your money back. Like if we could do it in a calm way and they could sort of hear directly from us. But if you could be advocates.
Oh, she's gone.
Us to explain to people, and if they are saying, well, like I'm just gonna have a refund, why would I, and to sort of explain like an individual contribution would really help with their cash flow right now, or save it for a gift certificate for next year because we know there's going to be something happening next year and we want to make sure that this could be, your gala ticket could be 2 tickets for next season. So any advocacy there is helpful. And yeah, that's what I got. So are there any questions or amazing stories of your lives? I don't know what time it is. I feel like every time oh my God, we're already over time. Of course we are.
Where were you when you made the video? Like with the palm trees?
Florida.
So when I got back, so when I got back from Ohio, I flew in that day and my sister-in-law was here visiting. And we were actually, the week after that, we were supposed to go for spring break, like for the kids' spring break, to go visit grandparents. And they had a vacation rental for 2 weeks in Florida. And they called and they're like, come here. You'll have 2 whole weeks where the kids will have a pool. You guys can work remotely. And at the end of 2 weeks, the world will be back to normal. Right. So we went down for 2 weeks and then the vacation rental ended. We had to come back to our very small apartment to figure this all out. But yes, I did have 2 weeks in which I was working remotely with palm trees in the back. So that was nice.
Nice.
Are we considering a digital tip jar for the watch party?
Sorry, I missed it. Say it again.
Are we considering a digital tip jar for the watch party set up to our Venmo so people can Venmo as they watch with us for this world premiere?
Yes, yes, we are.
I heard you say Venmo, which I love, but I missed the beginning part of what you said.
Yeah,
Digital tip. Yeah.
we'll do the digital tip jar.
A watch.
A watch party. Yes. Thank you. I'm sorry. We will, like, the main goal would be to push them through the formal donation page on our website, because then we capture the donor info and they get an automated tax letter in their email, and they're more likely to give a larger amount maybe if they do it through our website. But we will be doing the, tip to them though. I could be wrong though.
There's also Scotty, the Dip Jar is adding a virtual plug-in, so there might be some way of using that. I don't know what that tech looks like, but I bet that could plug into our CRM. So things to think about. And if it's not a campaign, I think those kind of things are okay. I don't know what he's giggling about, but you never know.
Legacy campaign. Never mind.
Thought of that too.
That's going to be our first Gratitude Tuesday. It's just going to be singing Legacy Campaign. Yeah. Anyways, I don't know if there are any more questions. I'm sure I think that they will continue to come up.
Kellyanne, I don't know if
yeah.
Kellyanne, I don't know if you have considered that Rata Tuesday also, I can't help it, but it also is in the same rhythm as Legacy Campaign, Rata Tuesday.
Gratitude.
Rata Tuesday.
Yeah, no, that could happen. That could happen. Run it by Scotty. He loves weird ideas like that.
I'm already on the rehearsal track.
Hey, and can I also just say, I don't know if we've ever done like a big public announcement of the fact that we moved our auction items from our gala online. Scotty did it in 48 hours, made the transition, and we made our goal. So anybody who did any bidding on our auction, like, that's fucking amazing. I'm not going to lie. So cool stuff.
Those 48 hours are like, they're blocked out of my brain. Like that Thursday through Saturday morning of gala weekend. I just don't remember what happened. I blacked out.
Also, I just have to add that you also did that kind of with our hands tied. We couldn't really do a lot of promo like we would have wanted to, but because of Arts Wave, we had to be like, this thing we're doing, but we can't tell you on social media, and still made goal.
Right, absolutely. And I just want to be very clear, because I think it's very important that I'm very clear that I am not faulting Arts Wave. It makes sense that it's just that right now we're in this new normal and we're just trying to figure it out, and we're trying to be respectful of Arts Wave's campaign throughout, and everybody's figuring out the new normal and the new rules about all the things. So we shall get there all together. Thank you for continuing to be amazing humans. And I'm excited to hear this Jacob piece and push that out. And yeah, we'll keep finding ways to connect. I think the goal is to keep regular touch points, these Saturday morning things, whatever they look like. And anything else we need to add, Scotty?
No, I was going to say at times like this, I'm grateful that I work for a nimble arts organization with people who are flexible and understand the climates. The opera is a large organization, and some of you might have seen that this week they had to cancel their entire 2020 season in one fell swoop. We don't have to do that because the way we are designed, project and concert based, and we can be a little bit more flexible with how we treat the situation, which I think it calls for nowadays. We don't know what next week is going to look like, let alone a couple months from now, and that kind of helps us. We don't have to cancel an entire season the way large arts organizations does that. So I'm grateful for that, and I'm grateful for each one of you. Just like when you post pictures of your dogs to the Pet Collective page, or like getting on here for half an hour every Saturday morning to see everyone's faces is awesome. I don't think we can say that enough.
Yep, absolutely. All right. Enjoy your Saturdays, and I miss you all very much. I'll talk to you soon.
We will be in touch, everybody.
All right. Bye.